Brookhaven in Roblox is just a roleplay game for most kids, but for Carter, it was the only reality that mattered. It was enough to make him push his own father onto a pot of boiling water. Meet Carter. He is 9 years old. Carter looks like a normal, happy kid. He loves pepperoni pizza, he loves watching funny videos online, but most of all, he loves Roblox. In fact, he does not just love it, he lives inside it. His favorite game is Brookhaven. If you play Roblox, you know this game. You spawn into a city, you get a house, you drive fancy cars, and you build a virtual life. For Carter, the houses and fast cars in the game are more real than his small, crowded apartment. He plays every single day. The moment his feet touch the ground in the morning, he opens his tablet. Every day when he comes home from school, he does not even take off his heavy backpack or change out of his uniform. He drops his school bag on the floor, ignores his homework, and runs straight to his screen to log into Brookhaven. At school, he cannot focus on his teachers. While the other children draw pictures of animals or play tag outside during lunch break, Carter sits alone in the corner of the playground, using his fingers to draw house layouts and car designs in the dirt. He thinks about Brookhaven during math class. He thinks about it while reading. As the weeks go by, his love for the game turns into a dangerous obsession. Carter starts watching violent gaming videos online when he cannot play. He learns how to troll other players, how to break into virtual houses, and how to ruin other people's games. He starts acting aggressive in real life too. If his dad asks him to brush his teeth, Carter growls like an animal. If his dad asks about his bad school grades, Carter covers his ears and screams. His dad, Mark, works very hard. He is a single dad after getting divorced years ago. He works long hours at an auto repair shop, coming home with black oil stains on his hands and tired eyes. He feels guilty that Carter does not have a mother at home, and he just wants Carter to be happy, so he lets him play. Mark thinks, at least he is safe inside the house. But Mark does not know that the game is slowly changing Carter's brain. If the internet stops working for even 1 second, Carter breaks his toys against the wall. If another player bans his avatar from a virtual mansion, he screams until his throat turns red and hurts. It is a cold Thursday evening in November. The sun is going down. It is getting dark outside. Inside the small apartment, everything is quiet except for the quiet coming from Carter's tablet. Mark is in the kitchen. He is exhausted from a long day of lifting heavy car tires. He wants to make a nice warm dinner for him and Carter to cheer them up. He decides to make some hot chicken noodle soup from scratch. He takes out a big, heavy metal pot. He fills it all the way to the top with cold water and places it on the gas stove. He turns the fire all the way up to boil the water for the soup. In the living room, Carter is sitting on the floor with his tablet. His eyes are wide open. He is not blinking. He is about to make the biggest achievement of his life in Brookhaven. He is about to unlock the rarest mansion on the private hill. A special pass he has been trying to get for 8 months. He spent months saving up, trading items, and waiting for this exact moment. He is typing fast. His heart is beating hard against his chest. Please, please, please let me unlock it, Carter whispers softly to the screen. The screen flashes bright green. The redemption window opens. Carter just needs to press the green accept button to claim his mansion. 10 seconds left. 9, 8. Then he hears his dad's voice. Carter, dinner is going to be ready in 5 minutes. Turn off the tablet right now, put it away, and come set the table, Mark shouts from the kitchen. Carter does not answer. He does not even blink. He is staring at the bright green button. 5 seconds left. 4. Carter, I said right now, move your feet. Suddenly, Mark walks into the living room. He is holding a dirty kitchen towel over his shoulder. He looks down at Carter. He sees his son completely ignoring him, lost inside the glass screen. Mark is tired, stressed, and angry. He walks over, reaches down, grabs the tablet right out of Carter's hands, and turns off the screen. The screen goes completely black. The process stops midway. The screen locks. The rare mansion is gone forever. 8 months of hard work and daily obsession, gone in 1 second. Carter freezes. His hands stay floating in the air, open and empty. He looks at his empty hands. Then he slowly turns his head and looks at his dad. Mark reaches up and puts the tablet on top of a high shelf that Carter cannot reach.
I told you to stop. You play too much. You are ruining your mind with these games. Now go to the bathroom and wash your hands, Mark says firmly. Then Mark turns his back, leaves the living room, and walks back into the kitchen to check on the boiling water for the soup. Carter stands up very slowly. He does not cry. He does not scream. He does not throw a tantrum like he usually does. Something inside his young brain just breaks completely.
In his twisted mind, Mark is not his dad anymore. Mark is not the man who buys him food or takes care of him. Mark is just a bad guy, an enemy player who just destroyed his virtual life and kicked him out of his house. Carter's face turns bright red. His breathing gets very heavy and fast through his nose. He begins to walk soundlessly behind his dad into the kitchen. In the kitchen, the big metal pot of water is boiling violently. Big, hot bubbles are popping at the top. Thick steam is rising high into the air. The water is super hot. It is extremely dangerous. Mark is standing right in front of the stove, leaning forward, looking down at the boiling pot. Carter steps right behind him. Carter is small, but in this moment, he is full of pure, dark anger. Mark turns his head a little bit, sensing someone standing behind him. "Did you wash your..." Before Mark can finish talking, Carter lifts both of his hands. He pushes his dad's back as hard as his small body can. Mark loses his balance completely. He falls forward with a loud crash. His hands hit the hot stovetop, but worse, his head smashes hard into the long handle of the big metal pot. The pot tips over completely. All the boiling water, every single drop of scalding liquid, splashes right onto Mark's face, neck, and chest. For 1 second, there is total silence in the room. Just the sound of hot water dripping onto the floor. Then, a scream. It is not a normal scream. It is a scream of terrible, awful, unbelievable pain. It is the loudest, most terrifying sound you will ever hear in your life. Mark falls flat onto the kitchen floor. He covers his face with both of his burning hands. His skin turns bright red, then white, and then it starts to peel right off his face. The water was so hot, it literally cooked his skin in 1 second. Mark rolls back and forth on the wet floor, crying, gasping, and screaming for help. My face! Oh my God, my face! It burns! Help me! Carter, help me! Mark screams, his voice cracking from agony. Carter stands right there at the kitchen doorway. He looks down at his dad squirming on the floor. Does he help him? Does he run to get a wet towel? Does he dial the police? No. Carter looks away from his father's burning body. He calmly turns around and walks out of the kitchen. He steps right over the pool of hot soup water on the floor. He walks back into the living room, drags a heavy dining chair across the room, climbs on top of it, and reaches his small hand up to take his tablet down from the high shelf. He turns the tablet back on. He opens Roblox again, while his father is screaming in unbearable pain on the kitchen floor, burning and crying. Carter sits comfortably on the soft sofa, taps his screen, and starts looking for another server to join. The neighbors in the apartment complex heard the terrible, unending screams through the thin walls. They quickly called the emergency police. When the police officers broke down the front door 15 minutes later, they found an absolute nightmare. The kitchen looked like a horror movie set. Mark was lying on the wet floor, passing out from the extreme pain and shock. His face was completely ruined. The damage was so severe, he would never look normal ever again. The police officers ran into the living room. They saw little Carter. He did not even look up when the heavy boots of the police came running in. He did not care about the flashing red and blue lights outside the window. He just kept tapping his screen with his thumb. I need to play. Mark stayed in the hospital burn unit for 4 long months. He had to get many painful surgeries to fix his skin and throat. He lost his ability to speak properly and can now only make weak, raspy sounds. He has to wear a tight, special medical mask over his face every day. Every single time he looks in the mirror, he remembers that awful Thursday night. But the story does not end in the kitchen. What happened to 9-year-old Carter? Because he was so young, the law could not put him in a normal adult prison. Instead, they took him to a high-security mental facility for children. A cold, silent place with thick concrete walls and heavy locking doors. There are no toys in his small room. There is no television, no books, and there is strictly no internet or screens allowed. The walls are covered in soft white padding, and the tiny window high above his bed has thick metal bars on it. The doctors watch him through a small glass window every single day, writing notes in their files. They wait for him to realize what he did. They wait for him to ask for his father or cry from guilt. But he never does. Carter just sits in the dark corner of his padded room, staring blankly at his empty hands. His fingers keep moving fast, clicking invisible mice and tapping invisible keys in the empty air over and over again. He is playing a game that only he can see. When the nurses slide his food tray through the door slot and ask, "Carter, do you miss your dad? Do you know what you did?" Carter does not even turn his head. He just stares at the blank white wall and into the quiet room. "I need to unlock my mansion. Give me my computer. The server is closing." He feels no guilt. He feels no sadness. His mind is completely gone, trapped forever inside a virtual game he will never be able to play again. While Carter is locked away in that lonely facility, his father Mark is living a completely different nightmare. He survived the boiling water, but his life was ruined. Because he was stuck in the hospital for so many months, his boss at the auto shop called his room and fired him. Suddenly, Mark had no job and no income. At the same time, massive hospital bills started arriving in the mail, adding up to thousands and thousands of dollars that he could never pay. Then came the rent deadline. Mark was finally discharged from the hospital, walking out with his medical face mask on. His landlord came to his apartment door and knocked very hard. The landlord did not care about Mark's burned face. He did not care that his son was in a mental hospital. He only cared about his rent money. When Mark could not pay, the landlord evicted him on the spot. Mark was kicked out of his own home. He had to pack all his clothes and Carter's old childhood toys into cheap black trash bags. With no money and nowhere else to go, Mark had to move into his elderly brother's tiny, dark basement across town. Now Mark does not even have a real bed. He sleeps on a small, lumpy sofa in the corner of the cold basement floor. Every time his brother looks at Mark's ruined face, he covers his eyes and cries quietly. Sometimes late at night, when the house is dark and silent, Mark reaches into his trash bag and pulls out a small photo frame. A picture of him and little Carter smiling at a park, before the tablet, before Roblox, and before the boiling water. Mark holds the photo against his chest and cries silently into the dark until he falls asleep. Mark lost his job, his money, his home, and his only little boy.